Hey guys, Kev here, and I just wanted to talk about the Magbak Elite case. So I got in a couple of these, and this is for the new iPhone 17. So I have the 17 Pro Max here. They have ones, I assume, for the 17 and probably the Air as well, or they will. They come in a case like this, which is really nice. It also comes with a screen protector, and it comes with a mag stick, which is really nice. So it comes with a whole package. I do have a discount code, LeftyEDC. That'll get you 15% off your order at Magbak, which is super helpful. This case is worth every penny. I've had this case on my phone for literally since the Elite came out. I have one on my 16 Pro Max, which is up here acting as our camera. And I've had that for over a year. And then I got, obviously, the new one. They sent me this one. I bought the Elite case for the 16. And then I reached out to them to see if I could get on an affiliate program or something because I loved it so much. To install the screen protector is actually super simple. You get alcohol prep pads, and you get a little sticky thing so you can take the dust off. But you basically want to take your phone out of the case and set it down in here. It'll literally sit into these slots perfectly. And then you're going to clean your screen, get it all nice, get the dust off. And then you're going to take this, and you're going to fold that down just like this. And you're going to hold it as you close the case. And you see these 4 spots right here. You're going to just close it onto those right there like that. And then you're going to pull this out slowly. And as you pull it out, it's going to apply the screen protector onto your phone, which is super cool. I don't use the screen protectors because I feel like they're not necessary at this point with iPhones. I'm not sure the state of phones from other companies, but with iPhones, I don't think you need them. I usually end up with maybe a scratch on my phone after like a year, 2 years. That's as long as I'm probably going to have the phone. Anyway, if you're somebody who keeps a phone for 10 years, then okay, I get it. Just put it on. It also comes with a mag stick, which is basically the reason why Magbak is the best in the game. I have a whole stack of them, so whenever I need to put one somewhere, I can. I have one in my shower. I have one in my office here on my shipping station up on the wall. I have one on my desk over there. I have one in my truck. And the truck is what started all of this. I could not find a mount that would work in my F-150. If you have an F-150, you might know what I'm talking about. The vent mounts don't really work. There's not really a flat spot, at least in my 2016 year. The only thing I could do was I took out the rubber thing out of the top pocket on the dashboard, and I used a suction cup mount and then had to like hang it down, and I used that. That was the only thing that would work until I got a Magbak case, and then I literally just took one of these, you peel off the cover, and then you have 3M adhesive, and I just stuck this on above the screen in my truck. And ever since then, I have been able to attach my phone just like that in my truck. It's absolutely the shit. Just make sure when you put these on something that this thicker side is up, okay? There's a thinner side and a thicker side. And the reason for that is so there's a little bit of a tilt. And when you put your phone on it, your phone's not going to be flat and hard to see, basically. So that's the reason they have that. And if you do it upside down, it's going to be, shitty. So just make sure you put the fat side up. It's all explained in the instructions. But you can buy these, or you get one with every case, which is sick. So that's the main reason I got to Magbak a couple years ago. And then last year they came out with this Elite case. And now they've perfected it. This thing is absolutely bonkers. It has the kickstand down here now with a nice crisp click open. You can put this just like that to watch in portrait mode. And most importantly, you can lay it down like this to watch in landscape mode, and it works perfectly. Then when you want to close it, nice click and close. I did ask them to give me info on their durability testing on that. I haven't gotten an answer. I just sent that email today because I was thinking about doing this video. But the one I had on my iPhone 16 Pro Max lasted about a year, the kickstand, before this magnet right here, what does that say? Open until clicks. Oh, it was a different setup for the kickstand on the 16 Pro Max case. It was up here or down here somewhere, whatever. But it was a little bit of a different setup. But it did have this magnet that is kind of glued on and then stuck onto these two posts. See those tiny little holes? And then that is what keeps it closed. But they also now have this click, which helps with that as well. That little magnet would come off and get stuck to the other magnet, and then the door would want to kind of stay open. And I'd have to pop that magnet back on. After about a year, that started happening. And eventually, I think I lost it, and then the door would kind of just flap a little bit, and that's when I was like, and I bought a new one. But it took about a year of daily use and abuse for that to happen. So I think that's perfectly fine. If you need a case to last 5 years, okay, maybe it's not the one for you. Just get the classic case in that case because it'll be clean and nothing can really break, right? These come with a bunch of features, and what I love about it is it doesn't make the case any thicker or really heavier than the classic case. And the classic case is pretty slim. I mean, this is the Elite case. You can see it's not like thick or anything. It's a very nice size case for what you get here. So you do get a button for camera control. Just so you're aware, these do not come in the button kits. No idea why not. That's something they should change. So make sure if you're getting a color kit like this, that the case you have doesn't have a weird colored camera button. So the beige case, this one, it comes with rose gold colored buttons. And I'm pretty sure, did I keep it somewhere here? That's the color, by the way, which I thought was a little feminine, so I swapped it. And let me see what I did with it. There it is. It came with a rose gold colored camera button. So luckily they sent me both cases, so I just stole this black button and I put it in here. But you wouldn't be able to do that if you just bought this case. So that's a downside, obviously, that button is colored, and then, yeah, it doesn't come in the kit. But if you get the black case, it's not really a concern because it'll just be black and it looks good no matter what. Or you could just remove the button completely and just have no camera control button, which is kind of how cases were early on last year. So that would work too. But I just wanted to point that out. I got a kit. They sent me a bunch of kits with these cases. So I have green, red, so I have green, white, and I have red. So if you get a Magbak Elite case for a iPhone 17 Pro and you want a red or green kit, let me know. Hit me up or whatever. I'll gladly send you the red or the green one. Figure why not share. The white one, I don't know why, but the rose gold one is in there. So I may have taken some stuff out. So I don't really want to offer that up and then not have the full kit. So just the red and the green, you know. I don't know how many people are going to have this and want it, but I thought it was worth offering. So I bought a button kit. I bought it, and it comes with 5 different colors. Red, green, blue, rose gold, and black. They are aluminum, and then they're hard anodized. Note again, they do not come with that camera button, and you only get these buttons, okay? You don't get this thing or anything. These come in the dedicated kits for a color. So if you want multiple colors, then you just get the buttons. So I took the blue ones and I put them in to match the blue phone, and I think it looks sick. You can also replace these little grippers. The full kits come with those. So you can see there's green grippers. So maybe I could have got a blue kit and then done that, but I think it looks nice with just a pop of the blue. So that is how the buttons work. They're very easy to put in and out. I'll show you real quick. Just show you a couple. So to take one of these buttons out, you're literally just going to take the case off. The pressure from the phone is what keeps them in, you know, when the case is on. So it literally just pops out, and you can see it has a tab on each end. So to put them in, you go on the inside of the case, and you can see where those tabs would go. You kind of just lay it in there. And then what I do is I come from this side and I just push through as I'm kind of looking to see what I'm doing to make sure I don't break anything. And then let's see. There we go. Just make sure it's in there. Check this side and you're good. Very simple. For the gripper things, you would just take, I'm going to take a bit driver and just punch them out, because those aren't metal. I'm not going to scratch them with this. But if you're concerned, obviously just use something else that's softer. But now you have this little grippy thing. And to put them in, again, you're just going to lay it in there. And then with these, you can just kind of shove them and get them to pop in like that. And if you go too far, like I just did, it's not a big deal. You can always come back this way and then push it in. So I'll kind of come back under it and shove it back in. That's what she said. And then come back to fix it like that. Make sure everything looks clean on this side. Boom. You have that in. These take, you know, a couple minutes to get the whole thing set up. You also have these camera bumps that you can replace. They are a little bit loose, so I don't love that, especially when I'm like sitting there holding the phone. I can kind of play with it, and I don't like that. But they just pop in. I probably have the original one somewhere. I swapped it out with the black one at one point. I don't know where I put all the stuff, so let me just take the white one, since that's the one I'm telling you I'm not giving away. It comes with the Pro Max and the Pro, so depending on which size you get, you take that out. And you want the side that has the text on it. Maybe you can see it. Beep. It says Pro Max right there. This side does not. So you want that side, or another way to look at it is you want the side with the longer cutout. So this one's a little bit shorter than that one. You want that one up, and then you just lay it in and push, and it'll kind of slot into place. If you do it right, that is. I have it the right way, don't I? See, I did the exact thing I tell people not to do. You want to lay it down so that it's on a flush surface. And then you can kind of lift it up as you push in and click it into place. Sorry, I made that look a lot harder than it was. And that's how you replace the bump. Okay, and then obviously when you put the phone in, it locks all of these things in place. You can remove the pinky pillow, which is one of the coolest things on this phone. You can see down here, it has these little prongs. I actually haven't tried to take the pinky pillow out on this case, but we'll see. So there's little holes in the pinky pillow that slot onto those. And I'm sure you just lift them up, and pull out. So you just lift that up and pull out. This is a big improvement over last year's where it mounted like right here. And part of it was sticking out, and I did not like that setup. So to install it, you're gonna push this in. Make sure you get that whole bottom tab part inside of the case. I would probably just use a finger or a needle nose pliers to pull it in, which is probably where this is leading, because my hands sometimes are a little too big for these little details. And if you have like XL hands, oh man, good luck. There we go. Okay, so almost in. And then once you get those in, you want to just press them onto those posts. There we go. Press them on. And now it is installed. Probably just need to press it through back here where I left it hanging a little bit. And then once it's on the actual phone, it'll look a lot cleaner. So, yeah, I probably just need to pull it through a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Get yourself some needle nose pliers on Amazon. Some real small ones, because they are helpful for stuff like this. Get under it. There we go. That last little tug, huh? And there you can see it sat right into there. And now we are good to go. So that's the pinky pillow, easy peasy. For the loop, it just comes out like that. And then you will slot it in on each side, like so. And then what you do is you look under here, and there's a little tab right there. So what you want to do is just make sure your flappage, man, it's really hard to lift up on some of these things, is locked down on there, okay? And then on this side, make sure you're locked down here. And if the loop feels too tight, so see here, this is what it feels like normally. It'll feel a little bit tight for me. I don't really use it, to be honest. But they say to use it for a week and see how it feels, because it'll probably stretch out a little bit and break in to fit you. But if it's still just too tight, then you can remove that plastic piece right there. So that little plastic guy comes out, I guess. The little clear plastic thing. And then when you pull down, or when you pull it, it's hard to show you without an actual phone in there. It will not stop on that part right here. It'll stop on that white part right there. So it won't stop here, it'll stop there. And you'll get a little bit more length. But they don't want you to do that for at least a week, because they want you to see if it breaks in, obviously. Because otherwise you might make it too loose, right? And again, all this stuff locks into place when you set the phone in. So that's pretty much it. The kickstand, there's no installing or uninstalling. You just use it. I've been using it. I use this one for the last 2 weeks, I guess now. And it's been great. Still clicking. Haven't had any issues. So I'm hoping that holds up for a long time. But that's the Elite case, guys. It's fantastic. It really is. Highly recommend it. You guys can use my code LEFTY15. Save yourself 15% if you want. As stated before, they sent me all this stuff. I did buy the button kit. That was like 20 bucks. Last year, I bought, I think, 2 Elite cases and 2 Classic cases. And then I finally was like, all right, I'm just going to reach out to them. I started reviewing more tech stuff. And they were kind enough to get me on their affiliate program. And they started sending me stuff. But I reached out to them. I think that's an important thing to note. Doesn't always have to be that way. But I really love the product, so I went to them. So I want to make that clear. Some people think, they just send you shit, and you're like, If you guys know me well enough, you'll know I don't just say things are good. I talk shit on companies that I work with all the time. If something isn't good, or I don't personally like it, I will tell you. That's just how it goes. So, yeah. I also have this badass little power bank from Nitecore. It's the NB Plus. They sent me, it's a 10,000 milliamp charger. So the thing I don't like about it is that it doesn't have any wireless capability. So I can't slap it on the back of my iPhone and have it just charge, right? At least I'll double check. I don't think so. Right. No wireless charging on it. And that's the biggest gripe because I'm used to that now. It's nice to just have that. But it has a USB-C and a USB-A, and I think the reason why it doesn't have that is because of how slim it is. They were able to keep this thing incredibly slim. I mean, look at this thing. For a 10,000 milliamp charger, just for reference, the one I use at my desk is this one. So I highly recommend this one as well. I got this on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. Again, I bought this. It's a Banks charger. It's basically just like an Anker one, except instead of 50 bucks, it's literally like $20 for this thing. It's insane. And it has a kickstand. So I've actually bought these for family members, like my dad. He uses this as his nightstand charger. So you just plug it in here, USB-C. You can also use A here. But you could plug it into a USB-C and then set it on your desk like this. And then you can slap your phone on it and you can use it in nightstand mode like this. It's super cool. If you don't want to spend money on like a cool 3-in-1 charger or a stand, or maybe you don't have an Apple Watch and AirPods, right? You can use your power bank as your nightstand charger, especially if you're traveling. It's great for that. But anyway, it has a kickstand. This is 10,000 milliamp hours. Look how thick this is. I mean, it's a chunky boy. This Nitecore is extremely thin compared to it. Now, it's longer, but not by much. And it's way thinner and way lighter weight. So, actually, I don't know if it's lighter weight, but it's way thinner. So 3.85 volts, 38.5 watt hours. Let's see what this puppy has, if it tells us. That was what, 38.5? This one, come on, baby. 38.5. So it's the same, 38.5 watt hours. Good to know. So, pretty cool little piece from Nitecore. I think they have a couple versions. They have different power banks. This is the skinniest one, though. So you can always check that out. I'll put a link to Nitecore as well. They've sent me stuff, and they have cool stuff. They have cool EDC flashlights and whatnot. They also have a pistol light that's pretty good. So you can check them out. I'll put a link down below to them. But yeah, mostly wanted to just show you guys my Magbak Elite case and just talk about how you would install buttons and all the gizmos and gadgets on here. And the fact that even with all that, let me just show you. This is a classic Magbak case from last year. So this fits the 16 Pro, I think. Pro Max, sorry. This case is not any thicker. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same thickness. Somehow they did that. And they fit all those features: a loop, a kickstand, a pillow, a pinky pillow. Let me grab the calipers because this is interesting. So basically 0.6, right? Be careful here because actually, let me use the other one so I don't. Probably be smart. Pop this in and then check it. Why do I suck at this? There we go. You can't actually put it on the ground because, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, let's see. 0.62. I mean, I didn't even notice the difference. But, so, would you take that? 0.03 inches of difference? I mean, I can't even tell, to be honest. Try to get these butted up. I mean, I just measured it, so I'm pretty sure the caliper is correct. But yeah, just slightly thicker. And that's just the camera bump, though. So let's see. Sorry, I'm nerding out here. Let's just see how thick is the just case part. 0.5 on that one. 0.52. Yeah, so basically 0.03 inches all around. It's a little bit thicker. So I take it back. It is thicker, but barely, guys. You don't notice the difference in hand. I've had both. I've used both. And you don't notice the difference. You notice that you have grip, which is nice. You notice that you have a loop, right, which is nice. You notice that you have a kickstand, which is freaking awesome. And one other big benefit of the Elite case over the Classic, and I love the Classic, guys, so don't get me wrong. If you just want to spend whatever these are, 60 bucks instead of 80, I totally get it. The magnets on here are retractable. So what does that mean? Okay, so when these magnets come out, use my knife. When they come out, they actually come out of the case. So do you see how it's coming out of the case right there? And then when you remove the item, they retract back. And I will say, one of my concerns when I got the Elite case was, is that going to work? Like, is that going to end up being loose and shit? No. I don't know if there's another magnet in there that pulls it back in or something, but I've had an Elite case for over a year, and I've never had the magnets not retract back in, so don't worry about that. The reason for that, because you're probably wondering, cool, but what the hell? The camera bump. So that makes it flush with the camera bump so that your phone doesn't have an awkward tilt or something, depending on how you put it on the mag stick or the fridge, right? The Classic case doesn't have that. The camera bump is lower, so it's not as much of an issue, but you can have some issues where, like, this part will be sticking up a little bit because the magnets are obviously down in here and the camera bump is taller. So the Elite case takes care of that, which is awesome. One downside to the new Elite case, at least as far as I can tell, it only has 2 magnets that retract. It still has the MagSafe ones and everything. But the Elite case from last year has a 3rd retractable strip right here. And I kind of like having that extra security. I noticed when I was mounting this in my pool, which, yeah, okay, it's weird, but I'll mount this on the side of my pool. And I noticed that It was a little bit looser in the ass end because it didn't have that magnet. Now it's still, the magnets were plenty strong and it held it there. It wasn't a problem. But the case from last year, I feel like was a little bit more sturdy because it had that extra little bit of, magnet area from that third strip. I would not trade it for the old case because this one has the kickstand down here that works amazing. So anyway, there's your spiel and everything on the Magbak cases. If you guys are interested, check them out. Use my code. You get the deal. Check out the Nightcore stuff. If you guys want me to do a video on the Apple Watch Ultra 3, definitely let me know. I have this Nomad band, which I really like. It's like their Rocky something band. I got the orange to match the orange on the watch, which I think is dead sexy. I was going to get their titanium band, but I just didn't go for that. I like the trail loops from Apple because they're very low key. They don't hit stuff. And you can infinitely adjust them. But I wanted to try this, and I do really like this. So I'm a big fan of this watch. It's way better than the original Apple Watch size that I had, which was like 40. I started at 42. My last one was 45 millimeter. This is 49. It's thicker and bigger, but it really doesn't. It's not like heavy. It doesn't bother me, and I think it looks way better. So, but anyway, if you guys want me to talk about that or the bands or anything, let me know. But that's it for Tech Corner for today. I have a video coming up on stuff from Rolling Square. They're a big supporter of the channel. I love them too. Again, bought a bunch of their shit before I reached out to them. And I have a power bank and some cords from them. I'm going to do a video on these. So stay tuned for that in the near future. And I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later. Peace.